what is going on with Nottingham Forest, and crucially, how's the season gone so far?
Well, obviously, it started awfully. 11 games, 1 win. That 1 win against West Ham, and that was awful. But then I think we offered Cooper a new contract midway through, showed a bit of belief in him, and from there it's just got even better and better. Since the international break, we've only lost 1 in the league, which you can't complain about when you're in a relegation battle.
You can't.
And that was against Man U away. Haven't lost at Old Trafford since the start of the year. So no, it's been really good since the. I think the World Cup break did come at a bad time for us, but we've bounced back really well. Obviously, getting crucial wins against Leicester.
Yep.
And draws against Chelsea, which are good. Bournemouth, we probably should have won yesterday. That would have really elevated us up the league a bit. So yeah, do you know what? It's been quite a good year to say. All the players needed to gel and stuff like that at the start of the year. But yeah, it's been quite good recently. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, obviously, as an outsider looking in, you have been playing alright. I do agree the winter break came at the bad time for you, as it probably did for us guys as well, as we were on a massive winning streak. But you've bounced back fairly well since then. Obviously, I've watched you at least once since the comeback, and we don't talk about that game or what happened within it, because Brendan Johnson's just Welsh. So we don't touch on that game, but I've been really, really good, and obviously this has all sort of been set up through that mental summer business you did when you signed. Was it 23 players in the end? I thought
it was about 26.
Well, there we go. We don't even know the number at this point.
It might be like 26 now.
Yeah, fair enough. When you look back on that summer business that you did, in hindsight, do you think it was actually a good idea?
Well, obviously some players haven't even touched the grass yet. Like Omar Richards, Niakai's only played twice, but like we needed them for backups. But obviously they've been injured. But players like Baldy, I don't know about how he says they. Why did we sign him? I don't understand why we signed him, because one, he just didn't play. It was probably just like one of those a bit of a panic buy, because Niakai got injured and then we just signed him, but we didn't really need him. So it was a bit of a panic buy from us, to be fair. But I feel like most of the signings have been we needed to make them. Obviously, I feel like we need to make a few more signings in January, which I think we'll touch on later. But I feel like the summer transfer window, it was a bit of a madness, but I feel most players are now gelling together really well, and most players we're starting to get a bit of use out of every single player we signed. That's not gone on loan.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we are going to go back through and obviously review every single player that you did bring in that summer transfer window. Now it's been a couple of months and you've actually been able to watch them play. Some of those players have already moved on from the club, which says an awful lot. I mean, you spoke on a couple of lads there. Bade, you gave him a 6 out of 10 initially, and I have a feeling it's not going to be a 6 out of 10 this time round. But we will touch on that in a later video. If you are watching this as a video on the channel instead of the full podcast, there is going to be 3 videos that are going to come out of this podcast, as well as the full podcast. The full podcast will most likely already be out on the channel as of you watching to this. So make sure to go and check that out, and also keep an eye out for all the other videos that are coming out around Nottingham Forest. We've touched on it there, obviously, through the transfers. The man that was behind all of this was Marinakis. Is he just mental, or does he just love signing players? Because between Olympiacos and Forest, there were nearly 50 players signed by him this summer.
He has got a very, very deep pockets.
He does.
Well, so you look at us now, we're obviously bringing in a lot more money than Olympiacos. Because when he first bought us, we were turning over maybe 12-13 million a year.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
And now we're turning over 140 million.
Yeah.
Made 150 million out of that Huddersfield game. It's so obviously this is probably his first priority now. So what you might start seeing is the Forest players that aren't quite getting into games at Forest might go on loan to Olympiacos. So I feel like Forest is his main thing now. Even though Olympiacos are playing Europa League and stuff. So I feel like long term Marinakis, even though he's a crazy bastard, it could be the long-term solution for us of signing players. Obviously, everyone knows he likes to put his hand in his pocket, spend the money, which, do you know what? If he's spending it rightly, I can't complain about it. So I feel like he's a very good owner, because, we always see him at matches as well, which is obviously a really good sign.
Yeah.
because it shows that he's interested in the club. Unlike some of these owners who just don't care and they just chuck money at the club.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think do you know what? I think he's a solid owner to have. He's got a few alleged crimes, but they're only alleged. So
Yes, thanks, Chaz. I briefed you on that one beforehand. Do apologise for any language in there as well. As quoted, he's a crazy bastard who's got some alleged crimes against him, but he seems to be a decent owner, so we can move on with that one. You've touched on the future a little bit there. What does the future look like longer term for this Forest side? Do you stay up long term? Is that just your survival? Is that just your sort of aim to just stay up constantly, or are you looking to push towards Europe?
So obviously we've seen it with Fulham this year. They're pushing Europe, but I think we need to do what a bit of Brighton are doing, like maybe 4 or 5 years of mid-table, just securing a place in the Premier League, get a bit of money, and then obviously start moving up the league a bit. Because like this year they're looking at pushing for Europe,
They are.
like a lot of sides are. But do you know what? I feel like long term, if we want to push for Europe, it's a bit of a bold shout, but I don't think Steve Cooper's the man.
Okay.
I feel like we need someone with a bit of experience who can maybe push the league up a bit. Like obviously, I know Graham Potter's a bit out of the question at the moment, but obviously someone like Graham Potter would be a great manager to have.
Don't rule it out, Chaz. He could be getting sacked in the summer by Chelsea.
Great.
But we will actually touch on Cooper's future a little bit later on, so I won't go too much into that now.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, before we sort of round off this segment and do actually move into how to, I don't want to say how to fix Forest, because you're doing all right, but that's the name of the series, so I kind of got to keep it moving with that. What are your predictions for this season for Forest in the Cups, in the league? How is the rest of the season going to play out?
So we'll start off with the cup, because obviously without the FA Cup,
You are.
bit of an embarrassing result against Blackpool, but I feel like we don't need to go far in it,
No,
because we've already got the Carabao Cup. We had 4 games in the Carabao Cup to still play if we get to the final. We've got another 20 games in the Premier League,
Yes.
19 games, 18 games. So I don't think Cooper needs the pressure on the players for the FA Cup, wearing them out. I feel like the FA Cup, I know football's all about money now. I know it's quite a prestigious trophy, but I don't think we're going to win it.
No.
The only reason I'll play the FA Cup is for Europe, but I don't think we're going to win it. So I feel the FA Cup was just a bit of a write-off. We didn't need to play it. Carabao Cup, obviously we've done well in it. We've got Man U, but I don't think we'll get past Man U there. They're in incredible form at the moment.
They are.
So I feel like if we get absolutely filled in at home, we should just play an under-23 side away. I don't think we need to knack people up, because after that we got Leeds at home on the Sunday, and that's a massive game. So I feel like we don't need to knacker players up. If we're 3 or 4-0 down away, just play a few youngsters. But I feel the Carabao Cup, we got a bit of potential to win that, because Newcastle and is it Southampton? Both beatable sides.
Yeah, I think it's because Newcastle beat us and then Southampton got through Leicester City, didn't they?
Obviously Newcastle, they're not looking brilliant at the moment. Lost to Sheffield Wednesday, drew to Palace yesterday.
Indeed.
So, do you know what? If we get past Man United, I see a real chance of winning it. And obviously Europe comes involved.
Exactly. Is it Conference League now? If you win the
It's Conference League. Yeah, I know that full manager.
Great competition, really good competition. I mean, we played in it, so it's a really good competition.
Yeah, you play like some Serbian.
I mean, like whatever it was when we got knocked out of the Europa League to go into it, our first game was Randers, who were like 7th in the Danish league at the time. So have fun.
I swear Tottenham got knocked out by Mura or something like that.
They did. And then league form. What's going to happen in the league?
So, I think it just really depends what happens in the next 2 or 3 games. Because if you look at like how tight it is at the bottom, every league's tight at the moment. But the bottom of the Premier League, it's unpredictable. I think the only teams you can predict to go down at the moment is Everton.
Okay.
Everton are down.
I still think they could survive. I don't think anybody's down yet, because you've still got, as I say, half the season left to go. But I could see Everton. I could see a lot of sides going down. I could see us being one of them.
Though I feel like there's about 7 teams in the discussion for it. The only team I just don't see going down is West Ham. I think that's the only team down from 12th to 20th. Is the only team I don't see going down is West Ham. They've got too much talent.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same for Wolves, possibly. You could say the same for Leicester as well.
No, you can't. You can't say the same for Leicester. They're awful.
James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans, Wolfden Didi, Wout Fars.
I'm joking.
Keep going.
So, I feel like league. I think we'll get 14th solid.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think we'll hit the magic 40, but I think we'll get 37 points.
That'll be enough.
I feel we need to get 3 points against teams like Leeds. We should have got 3 points yesterday against Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get 3 points against Everton, even West Ham, even though I've just said they're really good.
Yeah.
We need to get 3 points against Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get some massive results against the teams that are down there,
Sure.
and then teams that are up in the table, like your Cities, your Arsenal, your United. We've got them all at home. We need to try and like scrape a point against them,
you
and
beat
that's how we do
Liverpool,
it.
didn't you? You beat Liverpool early on in the season, and that's
Yeah, but that's easy.
Well, it's not easy, Chaz.
Yeah, it is. You almost beat him at Anfield if you want for that fast bloke.
Yeah, but we don't speak about Liverpool away, okay? Because Wout Fars supports Liverpool. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, probably does.
So he genuinely does. He's
Yeah.
he's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to say something dodgy happened, but possibly allegedly,